All right, so today we got 5 things you need to know before and during trucking school. Gotta make sure your credit is good. Not A1, but good. Because I came across a situation where somebody had to co-sign for me, and the first person didn't do it. They said, let me get back to you. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me. That was like 7 years ago. If you're watching this, I love you. And then the second person was my best friend. He ended up co-signing for me at the time. He came in clutch because I was already in trucking school at the time for like the first day or two, and it was like, nah, if you don't have nobody to co-sign for you, you got to hit the road, Jack. It's a business. I understand. I get it. So for number 2, you want to make sure you study for your permit before you get into class. If you do that, you can skip the first week, because the first week when I was in trucking school, they went over the permit. How to get your permit. You have to study for pretty much the permit. It's an app called, what is it called? It's an app out there called CDL Genie. I think that's the app. I put it in the description as well. I use that app. My brother used that app. And I have friends that use that app, and it worked for us. At the time, it was free. It might cost now. You know how things are with inflation. But yeah, make sure you study for that. So while you're in your first week, you can be focusing on your second week, because your second week you're going to be focused on pre-trip, under the hood pre-trip. You're going to have to learn these parts, the trailer pre-trip, and you're going to have to get all that stuff down packed. So get that out the way for the first week so you can be already on your second week during your first week. Number 3, you pretty much want to ask about the tandems. I see a lot of drivers out here, and it's probably not their fault, but for the most part, their tandems is all the way to the back. I don't understand why. Maybe it's a reason. Maybe the company is telling them to do it. But for my 7-8 years of driving, my tandems are not to the back. I mastered the tandems, so pretty much, yeah, just make sure you ask a lot of questions about the tandems, where they need to be at, where they should be at when your weight is legal and everything is good. A nice little place where to put them when your weight is about 40,000, to where you don't have to keep running in and out of the truck stop. And make sure you download the scale app, cat scale app. I'm gonna do a video on that too as well, what apps you need out here on the road. Number 4, you gotta realize that these trucking schools, they're in bed with a lot of these major companies. So you gotta be careful with that. The good thing about the major companies is they're going to train you how to do everything on this road. You're gonna have the best equipment. It's gonna be amazing. But if you have a lot of debt, you have kids, if you have a house payment, you have all that stuff, it's not going to work out for you. I'm telling you that. And if your stuff is not in order, it might not work out. But just go there, get your training, and then get out of there. Some say stay there for 3 months. Some say be there for 6 months. And I don't bash the major companies at all. I worked at a major company for about 3 years. I loved it. I had no bills, no kids. I still don't have no kids. No high overhead, none of that. But just remember, major companies are in bed with these trucking schools. And some trucking schools, the major company will pay for you to get your CDLs. So if your credit is not that good, they can cover it. And number 5, your job. If you have a job during trucking school, it might be hard. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I got my CDLs, I was working at a landscape company. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of bills. I was maybe like 21, 22, 23, I forgot. And I had to like pay my bills 2 months in advance. It was 1 month in advance at the time. I didn't even think about 2 months. I just thought about 1 month in advance. Everything was paid for. And if I would have failed that driving test, I would have been in the hole. And I was already kind of messed up that first week, that first month of training, because I didn't get paid that much. I think it was like $300-$400 a week. And then once I got on the road, I had to get like advances from the week before. So I was in the hole. But it was worth it. I'm glad I did it, but just keep that in mind with your job. See if the trucking school can work around your job, just in case you have a lot of bills and a lot of stuff you need to pay, like everybody else do, and it'll work out. But that's 5 things that you need to know before trucking school and during trucking school, part 1.